Hey, how's it going? Today I'm going to be talking about edge computing and what that is. Edge computing is distributed computing paradigm that brings computers and data storage closer to a location where it's needed, rather than relying on centralized data centers or cloud computing infrastructure. It, in traditional cloud computing, data is sent to remote data center for processing. But in edge computing, processing occurs locally on devices or in nearby data center, other than at or near the edge of the network. The edge refers to outermost perimeter of the network, where the data is generated and consumed. Some key characteristics and concepts associated with edge computing. Low latency, or in other words, lag for most of the processes of when you send or download or using internet. Some of the issues that edge computing is trying to resolve, that would be low latency. Edge computing reduces latency by processing data locally. This is critical for applications that require real-time or near real-time response, such as autonomous vehicles, industrial automation, and augmented reality. Just some of the areas that are currently or some time we're constantly working to improve on. That would, in particular, those areas that can potentially cost a lot of money or has a lot of perhaps market demand for, if not right now, in the future. Bandwidth efficiency. By processing data locally, edge computing can reduce the amount of data that needs to be transmitted to a central data center or the cloud. This can help alleviate network congestion and reduce bandwidth costs. Overall, just efficiency and improvement of why would you send it data that's been would be required to process locally. Very, very common sense, right? Instead of sending it far away, process and send it to be sent it back, it could definitely be processed locally. Some of the examples would be perhaps some of those probes, space probes, and then they were sent to Mars or have been sent to other places. And then they have a bandwidth, and what that bandwidth needs to communicate with the other centers. And if they have 4K images, 8K images, right, and how long it can take to send those images, just to give you a perspective, right? How long it can take to have those images to be sent to local into Earth from back to center. If it's large image, and how long it can take. If you want, you can do a little bit more research. One day I had went down this rabbit hole to understand a little bit better about the process and bandwidth and how they're processing it right now, and perhaps some of the options that they might be looking at in the future. Data privacy and security. Edge computing can enhance data privacy and security because sensitive data can be processed and stored locally rather than being sent over long distance to centralized servers. This is important in industries like healthcare and finance in particular. Scalability, perhaps not right now, but it's perhaps worth something to consider how you would like to process your website. So bring it back home, I guess, or why we're talking about it. If you have a daily visitor number, perhaps 10,000, 20,000, or even larger than that, to your website, and how you can scale your website, or perhaps different apps that you might be able to, if not right now, perhaps you might be able to offer your services on different apps, and how you can scale those services. And there are options out there. I don't want to promote other companies, but there are options out there for those of you who are interested. There are some interested people who are doing interesting things out there. Edge computing allows for scalable development since edge devices can be added or removed as needed. This makes it suitable for applications with varying workloads. There are free solutions, just so you know. There are free solutions up there. You do not necessarily need to pay for that. who can offer another layer of protection potentially to your website, to all the services of what you are offering. Distribution architecture. Edge computing often involves distribution architecture where multiple edge devices or nodes work together to process and store data. These devices can include IoT sensors or Internet of Things sensors. It's something that we covered already. Gateways, routers, and edge servers. Just depending, perhaps it would be based on where all the industry is heading. There would be more sensors, more outsourcing some of the operations within different companies, especially manufacturing companies in particular, perhaps service business would be affected as well, and how that is related to what today's topic, right? Use cases. Edge computing is used in a wide range of applications, including automation, automated vehicles, smart cities, industrial automation, healthcare, i.e., remote patient monitoring, remote animal monitoring as well. So, yeah, so they're doing crazy things for everyone. I guess the cheaper it gets to the technology, the cheaper it gets, the more use cases you might be able to see up there, where they can measure temperature, activity levels from patients to animals. They can do it remotely. They might need to attach something to, as well as there are some US companies who might consider doing that in the future, perhaps not in the near future, but there are some projects out there who are looking to monitor everything, as well as data processing and everything. So there are some interesting projects out there. Retail, i.e., inventory management, and more. In particular, I personally believe, and it's something I'll be focusing is in near future myself, it will be inventory, how the process, as well as accounting, inventory, and what the process might look like, as well as front end, back end. So a lot of software solutions that I'll be looking at. But I was developing some of the projects myself, as well as looking what is up there in the market currently. For those of you who would like to learn more, I would highly recommend to purchase this journal in Flow. In this journal, I'm focusing a lot on how to structure routines. The reason why I begin this journal is to structure your daily habits and how you should improve your day-to-day management of your time. I believe structuring, especially your day around time, is one of the best ways to do that. Everyone has 24 hours, and every person is trying to make most of their time. And developing a habit is something that I've done a lot of research on. So that's the reason why I structure it for every quarter. And when developing a habit, I have structure on the key areas. Those areas can be things to do, as well as your personal, professional goals that you would like to achieve. Motivation is something that you're struggling, just to name the few. You can find this journal in the description, as well as top retailers has it. Cloud integration. Edge computing is often used in conjunction with cloud computing. Data can be processed locally at the edge, and then selected data or result can be sent to the cloud for further analysis, storage, and long-term archiving. Overall, I have done a lot of research on this topic. Overall, it might be worth covering in more detail and sharing a little bit more information with you guys. Just if that's something that you are interested, I have published a book, and in the book I'm sharing all the information, especially about major technology companies, and that there's a lot of examples up there of what those companies are doing and how much they're investing in those kind of infrastructures. Some of them being cloud integration and cloud infrastructure, and just because if you would start notice of what's happening up there, you would see for yourself where things are moving and how the world is changing and shifting to different directions, and some of the moves that other players up there are making. Challenges. Edge computing also comes with challenges such as managing and over hash trading a large number of edge devices, ensuring security and at the edge, and dealing with hardware limitations on the edge devices. As I mentioned to you, I have noticed about how much investment, so about four, five as minimum to say, a fold investment into this particular area, and some of the massive companies are making a lot of investment in overall infrastructure. So those challenges are being currently addressed just because how much attention and capital has been thrown into this kind of problem based on the where things are moving. But I don't know if those numbers that I just mentioned haven't been confirmed. It's just overall projections. I'm not working for those companies. I'm not supporting anything. It's just something you can do your own research to find out more. I might be able to cover this in more detail for those of you who are interested. Just to summarize, edge computing is a powerful paradigm that complements centralized cloud computing by bringing computations closer to where it's needed, enabling faster response times, improving data privacy, and more efficient use of network resources. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next one.